Hello everyone, I'm Polly and today we're planning my next island. And I know, I still haven't shared my current island, and don't worry, that's coming. Okay, here's a little sneak peek of my current island if you're interested. But I'm just too excited to start working on my next island, even though I can't really start it right now because I haven't restarted this island yet. But I thought it would be a good idea to plan my next island right away before I share this island. And I have pretty exciting plans, but also I'm a little bit scared because it is going to be my first fall island, like really deep into fall. I know that last year I built Sycamore and it is during fall, it is an autumn island, but it is like that initial phase of autumn where everything's pretty much still green and it's just a little bit a darker tone or a little desaturated tone, I guess. But this time I want to do a really in-depth into fall island. I've created this little mood board so you can get the image and the vibe and the aesthetic that I want for this island. My biggest inspiration is Japan. This is going to be a Japan inspired island if you couldn't tell by now. Japan inspired islands are very comfortable for me and they really motivate me, and I always feel so inspired to work on Japanese inspired islands. So if I'm doing something that scares me, because yes, fall and winter islands terrify me, at least I have that comfort of knowing that it's going to be Japanese inspired. The places that I'm really getting my inspiration from are mostly Osaka and Kyoto. I'm just going after the really rich reds and golden tones. For flowers, I'm going with the reds and oranges. There's probably going to be little details of other colors because I always like to have some contrast. I will still have a lot of green contrasting with the reds and golden tones, but this will be really deep into fall, I also have some ideas for builds. Next, I will show you a little sketch of the island. This is a really rough sketch. If you've been here for a while, you know that I don't really plan my islands in that kind of depthness, really plan a whole layout and everything before I start working on the island. And even my builds, I don't pre-plan them. I don't have like a sketch that I will follow in the speed build. I just sit down and work and do whatever comes to mind. So I'm pretty spontaneous when it comes to creating my islands, but for builds that I want on this island, basically, there are three main areas, and one of the areas is a mountain because, as you can see from the images from the mood board, mountains and forest mountain stuff, it's really something present in these cities, and it can bring out all the tones that I want for the island. And on that mountain, I want to have a forest, of course. I don't know if I will have a bamboo forest on the mountain or like on the base of the mountain or somewhere else that I'll talk about in a second. But on the mountain, I want to have a temple, and I'll probably have like views to other traditional buildings. But I just want a temple, and I want to have a lot of darumas in that area, the mountain and the temple and all that. I also want to have some gardens leading to the temple or to be part of the temple. I'm not really sure yet, but just use bridges and water. I also want waterfalls because they look really cute, and they can I can purposefully have bridges, not just for decoration. Then I want to have a small city. I don't want this city to be super city core. On the contrary, this city is going to be a little more rural. I'm going after that more relaxing and calming city, small, tiny city, not super busy, super loud or anything like that. And I'll probably include some shops, some commercial buildings, with the villagers and all that. That small city is going to be on the entrance of the island. So it will be on the lower part of the island, and then the mountain will be to the side. And then on the other side, onsen with ryokan and some gardens. I'm not sure if it's going to also be kind of a mountain. I guess that it won't be part of the mountain that I mentioned before. I'll just have to figure out how it will look better, but I'll probably give it some height just because I tend to have very flat islands and I don't really want that for this island, and I'll really try my best to create some terraformingly interesting areas. You know what I mean? So these are my 3 big areas for this island, and inside of these 3 big areas there will be smaller builds. As I said, the small city is going to be on the lower part of the island and connected to the airport, and the resident services will be there as well. Then to the left of the island, on the back left of the island, I want to have the mountain, and on the other side, the onsens and ryokan. And there's probably going to be some transitional areas that don't belong necessarily to any of these 3 big areas on the island, the 3 main areas on the island. So I'm thinking of just having some forest. Maybe the bamboo forest could be included on those areas that are just transitional areas. I'll have to figure out because I don't really know how big each part will be, so I can only really think about transitional areas towards the end of the island, as I usually do. I don't really worry too much about transitional areas because I'll just make something work with what's already done. And that's honestly one of my biggest advices when it comes to creating an island. Just think of big areas and then you'll find a way to connect them all, I want to have a river dividing these 3 main areas. I want the river mouth to be one of them to be on the right. I also want the secret beach to be on the right, on the onsen side, and the resident services could be either on the center or towards the right part of the island. It doesn't necessarily need to be aligned with the airport. That takes a lot of work, and I just don't have what it takes to look for an island like that, and it's not really that important for me. The airport can be either in the middle or towards the right as well. The buildings that I can't move, basically the things that I can't move, are all going to be on the right side of the island because I really want to leave the left side of the island for the mountain. I want that space to be reserved for the mountain. I'm not really sure how big it will be, so I just want everything towards the right because the city is also going to be slightly more to the right than to the left. As you can see, I just have empty space on the bottom left corner of the island. That's pretty much my plan. As you can see, there's a lot of space for me to change things around if I feel like it's not really working. Hopefully I can find a map soon enough that checks all the boxes. I started with a big list of villagers, but this time I narrowed it down to 10 villagers. Not really sure if I will have 10 villagers on the island. It kind of depends on the size of the small city, but I will try to have the 10 villagers because I really like all of them. The list consists on Billy, Coco, Genji, Kabuki, Marcel, Pearl, Chino, Spork, Greta, and Wart Jr. And I know I've had some of these villagers on previous islands, but I feel like these villagers look really cute, first of all, and they also have the colors that I think will look cute with all the colors that I'll use on the island. As you may know, I like to have the villagers to fit the aesthetic of the island, either because of their personality or their looks, mostly their looks to be honest. But these are the villagers that I chose. The personalities are not that diversified, but I'm not too worried about it to be honest. And I think that is pretty much it in terms of plans for the next island. I know this isn't like very detailed or anything. I always have a bunch of ideas when I first start thinking of an island, and then I have to narrow them down, and then I have to fit them all on the island. And if I eventually have more ideas for the island, I'll try to include it. Sometimes I'm just working on an area and think, oh, this could look cute here, and I just include yet another build. Like so I will only be certain of certain things about the island once I start working on it. That's it. It's more traditional than my other islands, probably. It's not going to be an Halloween island or anything, by the way. It's just going to be a fall island. I hope you're as excited as I am for this new island. The speed build for the island that is on screen right now is coming next week, as well as the island tour NDA release, and I'm super excited to show you this island. It's a pretty small island, but I think it turned out really cute, and I think you like some of the areas that I created. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have any suggestions, or if you want to send me some inspiration, either like real life stuff or other creators, anything that you may think can help, send them my way, either through the comments or via DM on Instagram. Since we're speaking of islands, last week I ranked all my islands. So if you haven't seen my other islands and are interested in that, I advise you to watch that video so you know which ones are the better ones, I guess. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!